What up, YouTube Live? How's it going, everybody? Right now, it's Sunday night, September 19th. Um, we just got done, or just got finished watching the Emmys, the Primetime Emmys Award. And yeah, instead of giving my thoughts about the Emmys, I figured I'd just give you my thoughts about Sex Education Season 3. I was gonna do this session on Friday when the episodes arrive on Netflix, but I was busy on Friday. I was so swamped, I couldn't do it. And I was gonna do it yesterday on Saturday, but something came up, and I got busy too. So now I finally found the time to do this right before I will have to post a new review coming up this midnight. So stay tuned for that. Um, but yeah, I got a few more thoughts that I wanted to share that I couldn't put into my review of Sex Education Season 3 because that was a spoiler-free review. I already, sworn to secrecy that I was sworn to secrecy that I would not reveal any spoilers. But now that the episodes are out, I think it's pretty safe to say that we can discuss some of these turn of events, if you will, in the on season 3. So before I get to answering some of the questions that were on the on my YouTube video in the comment section, you guys went nuts, man, asking me for spoilers like crazy since last week's Wednesday when I posted this September 8th. But understandably so, you guys are huge fans, so now I can safely discuss some of these comments and questions. But before we get to these, let's put on new here. I just want to say that about the ending, because Maeve leaves town, and I get that it is very sad. Like I said in my review, it's romantic and sad at the same time. And nobody wants Maeve to leave. None of us wants Maeve to leave. I certainly didn't. I didn't want her to leave town at all. I thought that was, when I was watching it the first time, I thought like that was sort of like a cop out a little bit. Like the writers, like maybe they ran out of ideas on what to do with that character. And so they're like, you know what? This is like the equivalence of killing her off. Instead of killing her off, let's just send her off. But yeah, I totally understand the frustration and the anger that some of you might have, some of you, my fellow sex education fans, have about that ending, because just right, when it's about like finally Otis and Maeve kiss a couple times, or maybe even 3 times. I forgot the count anymore. But finally, just when it's about to happen, they don't happen. They don't go to that next step, aka dating, aka being a couple. All of us wanted to see that. All of us wanted to see that. All of us wanted to see them kiss, right? I mentioned that the season 3 did give us what we wanted to see, which is Otis and Maeve kissing. But the next step that we wanted to see, the season did not give us that. So I totally get your frustration. Like, oh, what a tease! What a horrible tease! Just when you're about to, just when they're finally kissing, when it's about to happen, it doesn't really happen. But let's face it, guys. Let's be real. Let's keep it real here. Those kisses were so good. Especially the one in the rain. Oh, the writers are always spot on when it comes to creating romantic words, and the lines that Asa Butterfield character Otis says when he said like, if we don't get to be romantic, that's fine. I just want to be with you. let's just do this whole team up thing again because I'm paraphrasing, of course. And he said something along the lines of, nothing is right when you're not around. Dude! Dude! Dude, if you say that to a girl, oh man, it'll sweep her off her feet, man. It don't matter if she's trying to play hard to get or she's playing if she's playing cold, or she's playing like she doesn't care. If you say to her, nothing is right when you're not around, or nothing ever feels right when you're not around, boy, that'll really hook her in, man. That'll really like get her, That's it. That's like the most romantic line ever. And so when Asa said that, or Otis said that, it was just like, and then the rain thing, and of course, the song in the background is Sixpence None the Richer. It's one of their other hit song in addition to Kiss Me. Kiss Me was the popular song from She's All That. So that was just like a perfect moment, right? So what I'm getting at is, yeah, we don't get the, or the show did not give us the Otis and Maeve dating stage, Otis and Maeve as an official couple, but man, are we really complaining really, too much about not having that, but not really appreciating or feeling grateful for those kisses, the one at the bus stop and in the rain. I mean, if you weigh, right, like you weigh it's like, okay, we don't get them dating, but man, we get them kissing. The kissing thing is still weighs heavy, man. It was like, oh, I'm like, okay, I can live with that. So I can understand your frustration, but I'm still joyful that we actually got to this point, when it comes to their characters. You know what I'm saying? All right, so that's the big deal, right? The biggest deal, and we'll come back around to that again. But let me talk about also Otis and Ruby, and oh my God, Ruby, the girl who plays Ruby is so attractive. I am just so in love with her. Her name is Mimi Keen, I believe. I have the list of names here because I'm bad with names. I'm good with faces. Some of us are bad with names but good with faces. And that's me. I'm one of them. So, yes, I believe her name is Mimi Keen. This is not the long list. And I follow her on Instagram. Because I'm a simp like that. But, yeah, she is jaw-dropping. That woman, Mimi Keen. Where is her IMDb page? Holy crap. It's like needle in a haystack here. I'm sure it's on the top. Asa, Emma, Connor, Keter, Amy, Alistair, Tanya, Patricia. There she is, Mimi Keen. So Ruby, I guess you can categorize her as a mean, popular girl, sorta. But in the season 3, oh my God, they were having sex so much, Otis and Ruby. It was just like, I was like rooting for Otis, like, yeah, boy, yeah, you go, boy. And also for her, like, you go, girl. Like, come on. You're young, you have these raging hormones. Why the hell not? We've all been there. So, I know that the assumption is that as you grow older, you become more conservative. But nah, I'm not one of them. I refuse to ever grow conservative. As I grow older, I will still be like, hey, you do you, boo. Live and let live. So I was cheering them on. But as far as relationship go, yeah, they were not compatible, bro. They were not compatible. But there's a point, you remember there's an episode where Ruby kind of had the sense that maybe this could be turning into something that's real instead of just sex. It's when Otis, being the gentleman he is very very warm and very kind towards Ruby's dad, and for Ruby, obviously her dad is her world. Like she. The thing is with her meanness, it's not like always her. The meanness sometimes could be for her. It could be like a persona, something that she puts on every once in a while. Sometimes she means it, being mean. Sometimes it's just a facade. She doesn't really truly mean to be mean, if you get what I mean. That's a lot of mean in a sentence. So, but when it comes to her dad, that's when, it's a big deal when you're in a relationship and you ask for your significant other to come to your house. Well, in this case, Otis has to like invite himself because because Ruby initially does not want Otis to like see her real life. But what I'm getting at is that when you're in a relationship and your significant other meets your parents or vice versa, that's huge. That's huge, and that's usually like one of the big tests to see whether or not your significant other is worth keeping, whether he or she is a keeper, how they react or how they behave around your parents. Because yes, teenagers rebel against their parents, teenagers act out. We've all been there, but deep down we always have this affinity for our parents. And like psychologists always say, when it comes to girls, they always look for somebody that reminds them of their dad. When it comes to boys, they always look for somebody who reminds them of their mom. I know it sounds creepy, but that's just the psychology of it all. That's why it's called daddy's girl and mommy's boy or mama's boy. So at that point, what Otis did around Ruby's dad, that was just like ding 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 ding. He scored big time, with Ruby. Like on Ruby's scoreboard, Otis is like on the top. And that's why when she's on the phone with Otis, she feels comfortable or she feels disarmed to tell him that she loves him. That I love you word blurts out because, just like the walls pretty much have crumbled down around her when Otis, behaves so well around her dad. He's just like, that was the moment that Ruby thinks like, oh my God, this could be the one. Like, he's so good to my dad. Like, again, for any girl, they're always looking for somebody that reminds them of their dad. And for a boy, they always look for somebody that reminds them of their mom. And so, but man, when Otis did not reciprocate Ruby's feeling, ooh, the worst thing you could say to a girl or a guy or your significant other when they say I love you to you, the worst thing you could say is like, oh, thank you, or that's nice, or silent, like, or trying to find a way out of this. That just signals like it's not compatible because it's a one-way road. You can't do one-way road. You got to be on a two-way road, give and take in a relationship. And so, that hurts so much. And I feel really, really bad for Ruby. It doesn't matter if she's mean afterwards, because that's her defense mechanism. She returns to being mean again because that's the only way she knows how to cloak herself from getting hurt. So you can't blame her for that. So it doesn't matter, that she turns mean to Otis again, because at that point when she said I love you, but Otis didn't tell her back I love you, you could tell that this like this how soul crushing that was, for Ruby, and so I feel so heartbroken for her. Um, so yeah, let's get through some of the comments here that you guys left on my YouTube channel. Oh, let's see about the chat room here real quick. Sebastel says, do you think Netflix is gonna renew the show? Okay, let's discuss that. My answer to you right now is I don't know. And I think you don't know the answer to that either. Because everything's right now is still up in the air. Netflix has not officially announced season 4 yet. But as I mentioned, in the comments section on the question that's similar to yours, the ending is like, it's like they leave, like it's like the writers leave some wiggle room, you know what I'm saying? So, in case Netflix decides to cancel the show, at least there's some sort of pseudo conclusion, that you can see that it's not a cliffhanger. Maeve leaves town, right? Maeve leaves town, but at least Maeve already kisses Otis, or gets to kiss Otis before she leaves, and then Eric is independent, and like I said in my review, everybody's forging their own path, and the school is closing down. So that's another wiggle room. So there's, basically they're saying like, okay, so if Netflix decides to cancel us, at least we have concluded some of these plot lines, that we have at least tied up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it won't be like one of those shows that Netflix cancels and everybody's wondering why. That story is still left hanging. You can't say that about Sex Education 3. So that's the wiggle room that they're making. But if Netflix decides to renew it for season 4, that wiggle room also allows them to build upon that. So yes, it seems like pseudo conclusion, but we can bring Maeve back from the US, right? Or we can have Eric and Otis go to another school, or so there's room for the story continued there if in case Netflix renews it. So that's what I mean by wiggle room. Do you think Otis and Maeve will be together if there is a season 4? Says Luke Tomei. That's the question on everybody's mind. You're not the only one, Luke. All of us are thinking that. All of us are wondering that. And just like what I just said, the answer is again, I don't know. I don't know. I think a lot of us want to see Otis and Maeve official, right? As a couple. A lot of us want to see them regularly making out, as a couple, going to the bowling alley, as a couple romantically going to the movies, but end up making out in the backseat instead of watching the movies. We want to see those moments, right? We want to see them dating as an official couple, but will it happen? I don't know. If Netflix renews it for season 4, I think I can safely speculate that at the very least, the writers will have that option on the table. If the show gets renewed for season 4, at least the writers would have the option of Otis and Maeve dating. They would have that on the storyboard, if you will. Whether or not they would go for that option, that's the $1 million question. So let's go with the latest comment here. Can you guys see it? Let me make this bigger for you guys. Oh, too big. Too much. Okay, Alex C says, just watch it and I have mixed feelings. The kisses were very romantic and full of love. The first kiss at the gas station definitely made the two and a half season wait worth. However, it felt like Maeve and Otis' arc this season was rushed. We didn't even get to see them as a couple. See? There you go. I think everybody's wishing that. We didn't get any of the Maeve and Otis magic from previous seasons because their scenes were too tense. None of the heartwarming, lighthearted Modus scenes from the previous seasons. I also disagree about what you said about the ending being satisfying. It was sad. They finally were on the same page in their relationship, and then Maeve had to leave all of a sudden. No, 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 no. I gotta correct you a little bit on that. What I mean by satisfying is that we actually get to the kiss. You know, that we actually got to see that. We've been dying to see that. Sure, we didn't get to see them as a couple, but the kiss, to me, in my opinion at least, those kisses, especially the one in the rain, oh my god, you can't say that's not satisfying. After 2.5 seasons of nothing, you know, that's still awesome. You know, you gotta feel joyful about that. That's what I mean by satisfying. I'm not saying that, oh, they don't get to be a couple. But then again, we don't even know if there's gonna be a season 4. So I stand by my opinion. I think your argument, Alex, is that it's not satisfying because we don't get to see them as a couple. I get that. None of us do. But it's still, but the kisses are still satisfying. After 2.5 seasons of not receiving any kiss, those kisses, especially the bus stop and the rain, they were awesome. They were awesome. You gotta admit that. All in all, I think it was still a good season, but it didn't hit the peak that season 1 had, in my opinion. I just hope there's a season 4 so we can actually see Maeve and Otis as a couple again. And I also want a Jean and Maeve scene. It's tragic that they haven't had a single interaction in the series. They're two of my most favorite characters. Thanks again for the review, Rama. Hopefully we get another one this time for season 4. Fingers crossed, Modus forever. Yes, the fact that Maeve and Jean Milburn have not crossed paths is quite disappointing. I think you would think that after 3 seasons, the writers could have found a way to at least get them to, you know, share some screen together. But after 3 seasons, they couldn't find a way to do that. It is kind of a bit of a letdown. So if Netflix cancels this show, that is gonna be one of their biggest regrets. They're, as in the writers, they don't have Jean and Maeve scene. Okay, so real quick, Gillian Anderson, who plays Jean Milburn, won Emmy tonight for The Crown, deservingly so. But I can't help in the back of my head thinking like, oh man, why can't she have won for also? Why can't she have won Emmy also for Sex Education? You know, as I mentioned in my review, it's just like, this is like the best show that Emmy never nominates. This is like the best show that Emmy always overlooks. And it's just so, I don't know, man. It's disheartening, you know? It's disheartening that these other folks out there, these television academy voters, that they're not seeing what we're seeing about this show. This show is so good, so good. Oh man, it's just so brutally honest, you know, and it promotes sex freedom, sex positivity, and the storylines and the character arcs are amazing. I don't know. It's disheartening that the TV Academy voters are not seeing what you and I are seeing about this show, and it's just so, yeah. If only, right? If only. Huang Toon Pop said, just came back after watching season 3. That ending is really, like you said, both romantic and sad, but I feel more sad than happy. I totally get it. You know, I don't blame you at all, Huang Tung Pam. Thank you for your comment. Sex Education, YouTube channel Sex Education, who left a lot of comments under this review. Hey, I finished watching the season earlier and there weren't 2 kisses but 3. I think you missed the last kiss. You know what? I think I may have missed the last kiss, but it's okay. It's okay. You know, the big 2 are still, you know, the one at the bus stop and the one in the rain. And so I think those ones pretty much, you know, are like the cream of the crop. You know, those two ones are like the ones that you're gonna be talking for years about. You're gonna be buzzing or discussing for years to come. Do you think Maeve, this is JM, do you think Maeve and Otis love each other in an adult type sense? Answer tomorrow. This is from 3 days ago. Well, if you say adult type sense like they have sex, well, now you know, you've seen the show, you've seen the season. They did not have sex. Um, Otis had a lot of sex with Ruby, so that's pretty awesome. But Maeve and Otis did not share uh, carnal moment. By the way, Maeve and Isaac did try to have some carnal moment. It's a bit awkward watching it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna dog on the handicap or the paralyzed. I think for what it's worth, you gotta admire the writers or the show itself trying to depict what what that might be like, the challenges that come with the physical relationship with somebody in Isaac's condition. And I don't think a lot of other shows out there have ever even come close to displaying that on the screen. So I mean, you got to give mad props to the show for even wanting to go there. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Whatever you may feel about Isaac, I know a lot of you hate Isaac, understandably so. But what I'm getting at is that romantic physical scene between Maeve and Isaac, or what was potentially going to be one, you got to give the show some credit for bravely going there when other shows haven't even done that. So Mega Movie says it has not gotten an Emmy nomination for comedy series because the PA was dumb and decided to put it in the drama category, which is way too stacked every year. It deserves Emmys though, because this show literally changed my life. I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. I discovered who I was because of it. I can't wait for, I think Mega Movie tried to say, I can't wait for season 3. So this was from 3 days ago. Mega Movie Z, I totally understand you, brother. I hear you. And I'm glad to hear that this show changed your life for the better. Change your life positively, significantly. And I think that's what the themes of sex education wants to convey to a lot of young people out there. That that's our sexuality is not something that we should. Our sexuality is not something that we should feel ashamed of. You know what I'm saying? It's not taboo. It's not like, oh, shh, yo, you can't talk about that. No, you can discuss that. You can have an open conversation about it. I think it's healthy to talk it out with somebody that you trust. It doesn't have to be your therapist, but somebody you trust. A lot of, I want to say, a lot of problem that adults have. I'm an adult now. Is because there's a lot of stuff during their younger years that were not tackled. Because they were told when they were young, like, oh, you don't talk about that, like, oh, just repress it, or like, hey, hush, hush, just go to church and pray to God about it. So, I grew up in a conservative Christian family where everything is like God this, God that. So whenever I have questions about this, like, oh, does everything have to be Jesus this and Jesus that? Not everything has to be with that response. So I think a lot of adults that have problems feeling secure about themselves and feeling confident about going after life and job, whatever. A lot of the problems stem from their younger selves not being able to openly discuss a lot of these issues, not just sex, many others as well. So if sex education changes your life positively and significantly, and it encourages or motivates you to have open and healthy conversation about sex with somebody you trust or with your loved one, then that's mission accomplished, in my opinion. That's mission accomplished. Little Cooper says, is there a happy end for Gene and Jakob? Gene and Jakob. Do they have a lot of scenes? Well, you've seen the season 3 now. Yes, they do have several scenes together. Um, Here's what I'll say about Jean and Jakob. Their relationship, um, Jakob embodies or represents masculinity, like macho, like the old school definition of macho. Like, oh, I build the tree house. Like, oh, I provide. I'm the man of the house. Like, oh, I'm a man, so I don't talk about feelings. Men don't talk. It's like therapists, psychiatrists. Psh, that's for women. Like, us men, we gotta be tough. So when Jean tries to get Jakob to see therapists, or couple counseling, if you want to call it that way as well, you can sense that Jakob, it's tough for him to be in that space because he comes from the school of thought that masculinity has to be a certain way. And so Jean, as you know, Jean is sexual freedom, right? In season 1, she was sleeping with a lot of people, and she's like, and of course she's a sexual therapist or sex therapist, and so she's very open-minded, and she really values psychiatry. And so it's a clash between, and in season 3, remember when the doctor in the clinic was being sexist to her, he was judging her for being old and pregnant. She lashed out like crazy, right? She like, let me see the manager. Is this the year 2021 or not? So I'm paraphrasing, of course, like, how dare you? So her feminism level is like through the roof. And then you have Jakob, whose masculinity level is through the roof. And so you have to wonder, like, is this opposites attract? Do they have some things in common? Like, why do they like each other in the first place? They're so different, like Mars and Venus different, Adam and Eve different, like really like opposites of the end of the spectrum. So you wonder that, and I think, I don't know if I'm cracking this code, but I think what draws them together as a couple, at the end of the day, is that yes, they are different from each other, thought-wise, but I believe, and this is my, the way I see things, I believe Jean feels safe around Jakob. And I think Jakob, no matter how masculine he is, how macho he is, Jakob is not closed up. You know what I'm saying? Jakob is open to new possibility, to new relationship. Remember, his wife died, so he would have all the reason in the world, justifiably so, to close up. So, oh, my wife died. I could choose to stay in my grief forever if I want to, and nobody would blame him. But he doesn't. He's opened up to Jean, and at the same time, Jean also feels safe around Jakob, and that's one of the things that. If you are in a relationship, you would know this. If you would understand where I'm coming from. One of the things that a woman values is safety, feeling, and not necessarily safety as in like safety from danger, but safety emotionally and safety financially. If a woman can feel safe around you, that they don't have to fear tomorrow because of you, that's golden, man. That's golden. And I think in a way, it may not be financially, but in a way, Jean's like, Jakob is my safe place, go-to place. Despite their striking differences, as I mentioned before, he's very masculine and she's very, into feminism, and into like freedom, sexuality. So despite that, they do have those little things that draw them together. And but that's my perspective. That's the way I see it. If you don't see it the same way, feel free to share in the comment section below. So this is about specific episode question, the rain scene between Maeve. So you know the answer to that. So Maeve and Isaac have a lot of screen time. Yes. Maeve and Isaac did have a lot of screen time. Is Maeve okay with Otis having a relationship with Ruby, or does she get a little jealous? Is the same for Otis with Isaac? Well, you remember the episode, I believe episode 6, right? In this season 3. Otis got jealous of Isaac. Remember that? Because Maeve's little sister Elsa or Elsie was missing, and so Otis gives her a ride on his bike. This is after they had that bus stop kiss, and then Otis meets Isaac at Elsie's foster parents' home, and it's just so funny, man. You can tell they're like trying to one up one another. You know, I was like, oh, you know, I'm with Maeve now. No, Isaac's like, no, I'm with Maeve now. I was like, trying to impress Maeve. Meanwhile, Maeve's head is, you know, with his little sister gone or missing. You know, she doesn't care about like the pissing contest between Isaac and Otis. So to answer your question, Arthur Sales, yes, Otis did get jealous about Maeve and Isaac. It's obvious in that episode. I think Maeve being jealous of Isaac. I'm sorry. I think Maeve being jealous of Otis and Ruby is not to the same degree that Otis is jealous about Maeve and Isaac. And I credit that to Maeve's personality. She's like a tough cookie, man. You know, she knows how to make herself feel distracted. You know, like there are many points in this season 3 where Amy says, "Oh, look at that! Look at Otis and Ruby. Are you okay, babe?" You know, because Amy always says, Amy always calls Maeve babe, right? Are you okay, babe? And Maeve's like, "Yeah, I'm all right." You know, she easily shrugs that off. She can easily like shakes that off. Like I was like, wow, you know, that's a tough cookie. Because if I were in her position, I don't know if I could do the same. You know, I would be like, "Oh, damn you, Ruby." But Maeve is a tougher cookie than I am. She's a hard shell, man. And then she always makes herself feel this, you know, she always makes herself distracted either by the whole thing with her little sister and that foster parent, or the whole thing like, oh, should I apply to this study abroad? So she may feel jealous she may feel jealous about Otis and Ruby, but she would always quickly go to whatever thing that she could come up with to put her head in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I'm not gonna let Otis and Ruby occupy my head. You know, instead, I'm gonna let this occupy my head. You see what I'm getting at? So that's one of Maeve's superpowers, if you will, and this is just amazing. Louis the Mess, is there any fights, both arguments and physical? Well, there's a lot of arguments, that's for sure, right? Physical fights? I don't know. Do you remember any physical fights in season 3? There may have been some. Oh yeah! Ruby and Hope. Ruby and Hope fighting over who gets to plug in the or unplugging the PA system during that video presentation. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Ruby versus Hope, and Ruby won, remember? Dude, that was like a cat fight too, like pulling hair, perfume, and like really woman's fight. You know what I'm saying? This is like, so yeah, to answer your question, it's Hope versus Ruby. So Man, that scene was amazing. Oh, let's talk about that real quick before I get to the next comment. That video presentation that they did with about sex, oh, brilliant, brilliant. And you wonder like how and when did they find the time to do all that? Because it's just, I don't know. I know it's grindhouse quality, the video, but still though, that's a pretty big production. You know what I'm saying? You gotta create the costumes for themselves. You know, vagina costume, penis costume, and all the condom costume. I mean, like these kids actually like, all right, guys, we gotta meet up at this warehouse. You know, and we hire just video production guys. It's a big deal. Holy crap! And they actually pulled that off. And the song, which of course I can't play here because of copyright infringement. At first, I thought that song was the original song. I thought that was gonna be like, I mean, I thought that was like a song that the writers of Sex Education created just for that episode. But no, I googled it, and it was a song by the Peaches, which I hadn't heard before, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. F the pain away. You know, oh my God, it's like a musical rendition of. If you check out the original song, it's great, but it's not vibrant. You know, it's not the same rendition as the one you see on Sex Education. The original one was very heavy and very rebellious. You know, whereas in Sex Education, their rendition of the song F the Pain Away is lively and, you know, joyous and jubilant. That's the difference. But the song is stuck in my head, gets stuck in my head for days on end after watching that episode for the first time, and I still love it. Let's see here. Oh, there's some chat room here. Alex C. Maeve was being in denial, just like when Otis and Ola were a thing. Yeah, I think that's true too. I think and you know, and Maeve is strong at doing that. What I was trying to say is that if I were in Maeve's shoes, I would not be strong enough to be in denial. I would be, you know, bawling in the corner like, oh, how come Otis is not with me? You know. But you know, Maeve and I are two different people. Maeve is like a hard shell, man. Alex, also I disagree about what you said about Jakob and Jean. I think they wouldn't have gotten back together if Jean wasn't pregnant. That's true. The pregnancy is one of the big reasons that why they're back again in season 3. But what I'm getting at with my argument earlier is that I think there, you know, because at one point in the season 3, Jakob was questioning whether the baby is his, right? And I think that doubt kind of dissipates once the baby's born. I don't know. I don't remember. You guys can remind me. Did they ever reveal whether or not he's actually the father? Because I want to say that by the end of it, by the time the baby's already out, he's just so happy about the baby, he just doesn't care anymore whether or not it's actually his. So, and if he receives the news that he's not the father, you know, I still think that, I don't know, this is just me having too much faith in Jakob probably, but I would still say that if the baby ends up being actually belonging to Otis's actual father, you know, the guy who's not showing up in season 3, if that's actually his baby, I want to bet that Jakob is still going to stick around. But that's just me having so much faith in Jakob. You know, maybe I'm naive like that. Luke Tom says, I really think Otis and Ruby can become friends. I really think so too, but I think it's going to take a while for Ruby to get to that point. You know what I'm saying, Luke? I think it'll be much easier for Otis. I don't think it's not as easy for Ruby. I think they can become friends, but I don't think the process, I don't think it is as easy for Ruby as it is for Otis, in my opinion. But yeah, you're right. You're right. They can become friends. Uh, Alexi, yes, she's really good at suppressing her feelings. Yes, I'm not good at that. If you guys are good at suppressing your feelings, boy, you're a tough cookie, man. You're like freaking Clint Eastwood or something. I'm not. I wear my emotions on my, what do you call it? What's that old saying? I wear it on my sleeves, right? I wear it on my sleeves. That's the kind of guy I am. Alexi, no, it was a cliffhanger at the end with Jin being shocked about the DNA result letter. Yep. So we never actually knew whether or not Jakob is the father. But I want to bet that even if it's Otis's actual dad, biological dad, who is the father, I want to bet that Jakob would stick around. Because I have that much faith in Jakob. And you can call me naive. Do Ruby and Otis have emotional scenes? Yes, we already discussed about this. The whole thing with Ruby saying, I love you to Otis, and Otis did not reciprocate because Otis did not share the same feeling about Ruby. And I mentioned earlier that the one thing that lets the walls around Ruby crumble down is the fact that Otis, the way he behaves around her dad. Again, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, if you behave so well around the parents of your significant other, that's golden, man. Bonus point. Because again, for a girl, it's daddy's girl. They always look for somebody that reminds them of their dad. For a boy, mama's boy, they always look for somebody that reminds them of their mom. That's just the psychology of it all. So that's when Ruby's like, oh my God, and then her meanness kind of gets stripped away, and she's feeling emotional after that evening, and she blurts out, I love you, Otis. And so, but Otis just doesn't feel the same way. But that is an emotional scene for Ruby. Here's the question that you always, or not always, you've been asking. A lot of you guys have been asking. This is from 4 days ago. Does the voicemail get revealed early on or in the middle of the season or late? Okay, it was like halfway through, right? I got to rewatch it again, but I think it's halfway through when Isaac, and you got to give credit to Isaac for actually being honest about it. Because things are starting to get heated, right, between Isaac and Maeve, and I just like, oh man, I can't let this happen without me, confessing to Maeve. I know, and so you got to give some credit to the guy, whether or not you like him. And I know a lot of you guys hate Isaac, but and the whole deleting voicemail thing that he did last season was so unforgivable, right? Unpardonable. It's like, damn you, when he deleted that voicemail, Isaac officially became a villain, to us, fans of Maeve and Otis. But, credit where credit is due. He told Maeve, and of course she's naturally upset. Anybody would. So, but yeah, that's the only aftermath of that voicemail. And the next thing that we saw is that Otis told Maeve what exactly he said in the voicemail. And that's at the bus stop. So, yeah. I'm glad that at the very least that the writers address that whole voicemail situation. Even if it's just verbally. This season, Maeve and Otis recreate that connection they had in the first season. I don't mean romantically, but laughing together, completing each other's sentences, understanding the other jokes, thinking the same way about many things. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen much in season 3. In the kissing scenes, are they tender with each other? I mean, touching each other's faces, hair. Are we gonna see some jealousy, both in season in general? Yes, it's very tender, especially the one in the rain, with Sixpence None the Richer song in the background. It was very romantic. That kiss, because the kiss at the bus stop, you can tell that Maeve was like a lot of things going on. flying around in her head, right? That's why she said, I'm so confused right now. Because she has this thing with Isaac, and she has this thing with, all these other stuff that's occupying her head. And she's kissing him. I should be happy, but I'm just confused. Whereas in the one in the rain, both Otis and Maeve are in the same headspace. They're in the same. They know what they want. When what they want is that kiss. So that was just fantastic, man. Even like Otis got a call from Jakob. It's like, oh, it's just Jakob. I want to kiss this girl some more. So, did you think Otis wanted a serious relationship with Ruby, or he just wanted them to be official, but nothing more after that? No, I think Otis, the whole brief boyfriend girlfriend couple that they were experiencing. I think Ruby wanted it more than Otis did. I think, this is my speculation, but I think Otis is like, I can't get with Maeve. Maeve is moving on. I guess Ruby will do. And I'm not saying that in a mean or belittling kind of way, but but Otis, as you know, Otis is a romantic. That's why Otis asked Ruby, hey, can I meet your dad? He's the one who initiated that thing. So I think he wanted it to be official as some sort of like an experience, like I don't want to just be superficial having sex just like that and that's it, like a piece of meat, I wanted this to be something, whatever it is, just let it be more than just sex. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think, and I'm speculating that at the back of his head, he would always be wishing that would be Ruby instead of Maeve, this official boyfriend-girlfriend thing. But since Maeve, he's like, oh, they're not in the, how it is, they're not in the same situation at that point. Ruby was that girl. And so hopefully that answers your question. So, but Otis is a romantic, man. He's a hopeless romantic, like crazy. Again, I disagree about your take on Gene and Jakob having trust issues. Big like I can see what you think otherwise, though. All right, at least you respect where I'm coming from. Thank you at least that you're not bashing my opinion. Again, this is just we sharing each other's opinions, right? So there's no right and wrong about this spoiler talk today. Alexi, I was surprised Maeve wasn't more mad about what Isaac did, especially since she already has hard enough time of trusting people, and the person she trusted most of the time, Isaac, betrayed her. Yeah, I think, but how would you measure more mad though? Like what? Like throwing plates against the wall mad, or flipping his wheelchair over? I don't know. I mean, like, she was pretty mad to me. I know. I don't see the need for her to go all over dramatic mad. I think it's pretty clear by the end of it, like, that Maeve did not want to have a romantic relationship with Isaac. At the end of it, she still says, like, I want you to be in my life, as friends. But it's Isaac that's just, he's not able to get himself there yet, kind of like my answer to your question earlier about Ruby and Otis becoming friends. I think Otis, would be like, hey, Ruby, I want you in my life as friends, kind of like Maeve and Isaac. But Ruby probably, in my speculating, would be like Isaac, like, yeah, I'm just not there yet. Maybe, but I'm just not there yet. Dominic Spano, you're on so late. I didn't watch this show, but I just want to say thanks for the awesome reviews. Let's rock this. Thank you, Dominic. By the way, Dominic, right now it's 10:19 p.m. California time. In about an hour and a half from now, at midnight, I will be posting for you guys a brand new video review that you guys are gonna be loving. All right, I'm not gonna tell you what it is right now. So by midnight tonight, come back and check out the new review that I'll post, and it's an awesome show. I'll leave it at that. So, Alexi, no, nothing physical like that. I mean, she just brushed it off after like a day. It honestly felt like she was more mad than Amy than she did with Isaac, and what Amy did wasn't even close to. Yeah, let's talk about that. Amy and Maeve, being angry with each other. I gotta say that in that conflict, Amy versus Maeve, I gotta say I'm siding with Amy. I'm sorry, I love Maeve, alright? She's hot. We love Maeve, all of us do. But man, Maeve did Amy bad on that one, bro. I'm sorry. I'm team Amy on that one, because like, how, man, you must have such huge pride that you had to feel like so hurt about people helping you. Like I can't wrap my head around that. Like, how big is your ego that you don't want people to help you? Like, and she's your best friend, she's not a stranger. You're not receiving charity, from a donation from an anonymous. You're receiving help from your best friend, and you can't even say thank you. Instead you're like grumpy. It's like, oh, screw your help. I can pull my own bootstraps up. Like, I can pull myself. Oh, I'm independent. Like, I don't need anybody, nobody. It's just like, really? And then she like bites Amy's head off over that. At that moment, I was like not on team Maeve, man. That was just not cool what she did to Amy. And we all know Amy has gone through a lot, in season 2 with the assault on the bus, and she's still dealing with that aftermath. That's why she's meeting Gene. She's just like a sweetheart, man. She's a sweetheart. So, shame on you, Maeve. Obviously, they patch things up later on, right? That's cool when they're trying to find Maeve's little sister. But man, look, guys, here's the thing. I know we're all prideful people, right? We're all proud, and we all think like, I could make it on my own. I know. Screw that old saying that no man is an island. I can. It's like, but no, guys, no. We at one point or another we're gonna need somebody's help. You can't just say that, oh, I did this just by my own self. It's just like, I got myself into this trouble. I myself will get myself out of this trouble. It's like, no, sometimes you need a rope. Sometimes you need a helping hand. Sometimes you need somebody to cut you some slack in this life, So I hope that whatever it is that we're dealing, in our lives, whatever it is that you're going through in your lives, that you're always be open to receiving help, especially from somebody that you trust, like a best friend, like an Amy. So definitely. Alexi, yes, I'm on Amy's side on that too. Honestly, Maeve kind of felt like a very different person this season. I think they went overboard with trying to show that the characters changed a lot or grew. I can see that. I can understand that. I can agree with that. And I think, to your point, Alex, I think there are some cases where, yeah, I get it. The writers wanted to make a point that, Eric can be good on his own, or like Otis can be good, on his own, or like Maeve can be good on his own. I get it. But you don't have to, it doesn't have to get to a point where it makes being with somebody look bad. You know what I'm saying? What's Eric's boyfriend's name? Adam. Adam now is on his own and he's doing his own dog competitions. Like, I get it. They want to find their own thing. but it doesn't mean that like, oh, being a couple is bad. I think that's what you mean by overboard. It looks like in the process of trying to make these characters, each of them have a personal growth as an individual, as his own person or her person. In the process of making that, it comes off making it look like, or optically making it look like, oh, being in a couple is bad for them, or being in a relationship is not good for them. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, maybe the writers could kind of balance that out a little better. You know, between single pursuing your own thing and being in a relationship. You know, it doesn't have to. Being in a relationship does not have to take away your identity or who you are or your goal or your pursuit. You know, it doesn't have to be a negative. And it seems like that with Maeve especially. It's like, oh, I gotta discover my own self in America. You know, we'll figure things out when I get back. It's like it makes it seem like, oh, Maeve and Otis is not healthy for Maeve. You know what I'm saying? So that's the optics at least. So hopefully that's something that the writers could kind of fix, if you will, or tweak in season 4 if the show gets renewed for season 4. So a lot of these comments, you know, are kind of repetitive or redundant. No offense. Many of you guys are just asking about how many kisses, you know, are they romantic? Okay, here's one question. Does Otis team up with Maeve to rebel against the new headmistress? That whole episode 7, guys. I mean, it's just golden. It's Jackson and Viv and everybody. And then the vulva cupcakes. I was like, everybody's just ganging up on Hope and Ruby fighting Hope. You know, the thing is, I mentioned in my review that Hope is not an all-around like bad person. You know what I'm saying? She's just tragic. You can tell that, you know, with the whole thing of not being able to get pregnant, you know, that really gets to her. That really gets under her skin. You know, because she said, right, in the on that episode talking to Otis, she said along the lines of, my body's supposed to work, but it's not working. You know, I'm a woman. I'm supposed to be able to do this. So she's obsessed with trying to make the school work the way she thinks it's supposed to. A school is supposed to be like this, not this. You know, my body's supposed to be like this, not this. So that's where she's coming from, and I think, you know, I think the writers did a good job of conveying that, of making her not be, you know, like Satan or devil. So I feel, you know, I know it's the thing what she did with the whole Scarlet Letter, you know, putting the sign thing, the sign of shame, that was uncalled for. That was a little bit too much. That's at the point that where we're like, oh man, she's bad. But in the later episodes, like your heart bleeds for her again. Your heart bleeds for her again. Like, oh my goodness, you know, once you see where she's coming from, you know, it doesn't condone what she did on that stage to Adam and Lily, and I forgot the other girl's name, but at least I'm not seeing her as some kind of Jezebel. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. That's review. Voicemail again. Okay, yeah, they're all the same comments here. So I'm winding down. I want to also talk about Lily and what's her name? Lily and Ola. And then Eric and Adam. So let's start with Eric and Adam. Eric and Adam is not compatible. I think you can still argue compatibility between Gene and Jakob, whether or not they're in sync. But Eric and Adam, in my opinion, as cute as they look together, they're not compatible. And the show makes that very clear, you know, that Adam is new to all this, whereas Eric is like already sprinting like 100 meters ahead, like wow, way ahead. So, but I can totally relate to Eric when he's in Nigeria, because I came from the country Indonesia, and don't get me wrong, I love my homeland Indonesia, but as far as LGBTQ goes, Indonesia is not there yet, and I don't think that they will ever get there at all, because Indonesia is so steep in religious conservatism, whether it be Islam or Christian. They're very set in their ways. It's gonna be really hard. It's gonna take a generation to finally move Indonesia in the in the right direction as far as LGBTQ goes. So when Eric's in Nigeria, I can't help but think of my homeland, Indonesia, and how the people there, how they view LGBTQ Indonesians, and it saddens me to think about that. So that episode really, really hits home for me. When it comes to Lily and Ola, not a lot that this show. Let me put it this way: the show does not explore Lily and Ola as deep as the other relationships. You know what I'm saying? It only goes up to the point about Lily being shamed for her obsession with aliens and sexual fantasies regarding aliens and galaxies. And Ola wanting their sexuality or sexual relationship to at least for once not be alien related. So that's the only thing that the writers go about Lily and Ola. Nothing deeper than that. But I think it's sufficient. Okay, I mean it's okay enough, right? It's okay enough to warrant that scene that Lily has with Otis in that room. I think that was kind of cool, where because at that point Otis has finally got in touch again with her. I'm sorry, Otis has finally got in touch again with his calling, right? Oh my God, I'm a psychiatrist just like my mom. So I gotta help Lily. And so he's back in that mode again, just like back when he was in that restroom stall, here listening to people's problem. In that bedroom, him and Lily, he's back in that mode again as the unofficial Mordell sexual psychiatrist. And so that was a really touching moment for me, at least as a fan, seeing Otis and Lily, I don't know, just share and open up with each other. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty cool. So I'm just glad by the end of it, Lily returns to her alien fandom. I mean, because I, for one, cannot see her as anything other than that. That's just her, man. I mean, that's just like if you're asking me to stop being a film critic. It's like, I would be devastated. Like, really? You want me to stop giving opinions about movies? That's soul crushing. That's what I love to do. I love what I am. So asking, Lily to stop liking aliens and galaxies, that's just like asking her to stop breathing, might as well. And that's not cool. And so I'm glad, at least she has her happy ending. And I think Ola wants at least to have a non-alien sex with Lily. But I think Ola is just fine enough to like, okay, if my girl's happy, I'm happy. And I think that's where they'll leave Ola and Lily. Now, I don't know what's going to happen if there is a season 4, because the school's shutting down. What does that mean? If there is a season 4, are they going to be in another school? I just don't know. There's a lot of all these things that are up in the air. And I think you and I can only hope that there is a season 4. And what goes beyond that, if it's going to show Otis and Maeve as a couple or not, that's also up in the air. Right now, we're just hoping for, for the powers that be, the gods at Netflix, the executives, the ones that have the power to green light and cancel, that they would show mercy and give this show another season. I wish the whole world can see what you and I see about this show. This show is just so good, so wonderful. A lot of great messages in it, and it's very encouraging. And my goodness, I think if I were a parent, or if I become a parent someday of a teenager, I think I would have them watch Sex Education. I think I would. I think I would be like, hey son, or daughter of it, hey sweetheart, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. And then by the end of it, I'll be like, hey, you know what's good to watch? Sex Education. But we'll have a discussion along with it. So they're not just watching the episode and that's just it. So they would watch the episode and they talk with me either beforehand or afterwards along the way, throughout the whole season. I think that would be quote unquote healthy. So that's my plan at least. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for Alex C, one last time here. Season 3 has been doing so well so far. I think we should be optimistic. I'm at like 60-40 on it right now. Yes. Thank you for being optimistic, Alex. And let's all of us be optimistic like Alex. And let's keep our fingers crossed. Pray to Zeus. Whatever gods you pray. And then hope that season 4 is happening. Alex says, and that ending wasn't satisfying to me at all, like your reviewers have said. And I get it, to each their own. That's fine. It just didn't satisfy me like it did for you. I'm just saying that the romanticism of Maeve and Otis, that we finally got it after 2.5 seasons not getting it. I mean, I take that as a win. But that's just my opinion. Thank you so much, you guys. Alex, Luke, and Sebast, and Dominic for chatting with me on the chat room. And for those of you guys that didn't get to chat with me, please share your thoughts in the comment section below. And again, I'll be posting some awesome new video reviews at midnight tonight. So, come back and check it out when it's live online as well. So, as always, subscribe, and let's rock this. Woohoo! Sex Educations! We are sex school! Oh, I'm here to have a civil discussion. I respect everybody's opinions. That's right. Thank you, Alex. We are sex school. Let's rock this.